Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome those of us that are already present in class. Hello, everyone. And thanks for joining. And thanks for joining the Zoom, the online facilitation, the online facilitation class for NSC 303, which is concept of primary health care in the community. Thank you once again. I want to welcome all of us. I can see okay, I can see Awawu, I can see West, okay. All right, let's go to the business of the day. For those of us that we still have our friends, perhaps they've not been able to log into the school page, please kindly share the link with them. And today in our facilitation, we will begin with the first topic under the course code of NSC 303, which is the concepts of primary health and community nursing. And in today's topic, which is health concepts, as I showed, share the slide that talks about, that introduce the topic for today that we will be discussing. Health concepts is the title. And in this lesson, what are the expected learning goals for learners? Of course, we know that for every topic that is covered, we have expected learning goals or the expected outcomes or objectives that students or learners are expected to be able to explain and comprehend or give back to the teacher or to the facilitator. And for this unit, for unit 1 of this course, learners are expected to be able to explain the concept of health, to be able to define health, that is the definition of health, as well as list and explain the various dimensions of health, as well as discuss the determinants of health, as well as to be able to explain the prerequisite for health. So all this we are going to dissect as we interact together for the next 40 to 50 minutes in this online facilitation. And it is also important to note that this is a facilitation and not a lecture. So it would be nice if we can relate with each other. As we know that the essence of this facilitation is for student center and not teacher center. So don't expect that I would do the talking alone. I would appreciate if learners are also engaging me as we go along in this facilitation. So when we say health concepts, of course, we understand that, of course, we do understand. Okay, maybe before we go properly into the topic, let me make a quick announcement. During these 8 weeks of facilitation that we'll be having this semester, You'll be expected to do quizzes, and you will also be given assignments. At the same time, your attendance also will be part of your continuous assessment. So kindly note that your participation in class and your attendance quizzes in class will sum up to be used as your continuous assessment. We'll also be having interaction, a forum, even outside the normal class session, where I can post a question, or any of you can post a question. I will be expected to react to the question, answer it, or contribute to the question or the discussion. We'll also be expected to have what we call a WhatsApp group. So which I will expect one of you to be the admin of that group, where we can ask questions outside our facilitation time that can run throughout the week, and we can respond to it. If any of you need anything, it can be asked on the platform. It can be asked on the platform. So, as I was saying, what do you understand by health concepts? And of course, we understand that the concept of health, or health itself, is a fundamental human right. Yes or no? Of course, yes. Health is a fundamental human right. Everyone, every individual, every human being has rights to be in good, to be in health. So for that reason, having set the stage, let's go into the concept of health. What do you understand by the word health? How would you define health? As I ask question, you are expected to also respond by sending in or raising your electronic hands. You have to raise your electronic hands, and you will be recognized to share your thoughts or your idea based on the question that is raised. So, what is health? Of course, we understand that the definition of health, it's simply a state of complete wellness. That is the general definition that it is being circulated in our society. But you and I should have a better understanding of the definition of health. And so when you say someone is in health, does it really mean that the person is not whether physically okay, but is mentally or psychologically or spiritually okay? Of course not. That is why the definition of health is what? Is an holistic well-being of a person. Is the complete wellness of the mental, the physical, the spiritual, the social as well. So in all these four phases of human life, one has to be well before one can say the person or an individual or a person is in health. Whenever the person is having either spiritual or mental or social imbalances, then the person is not in health. If someone understand? Is it understood? Okay. Yes, if it's understood, please kindly type on the chat yes. If it's not, type no. And if you do have any question, I do encourage that we type or we raise our electronic end so that the individual can be recognized. And I crave your interaction. I crave as well for your contributions. Thank you. So what are the dimensions? Earlier on in the learning goals, I mentioned that at the end of today's facilitation, the learners are expected to be able to explain, list, and describe the dimensions of health. Now, let's mention and expound on these dimensions of health. What are they? One, we have the ecological dimension. Two, we have the biomedical dimension. We also have the medical dimension of this. Yes, we have the ecological concepts. We also have the psychosocial concepts, as well as the holistic concepts, as well as biomedical concepts. These are the various concepts of health that are interrelated. Sorry for the mistake that I made earlier by mentioning dimension, not dimension. We are not yet into dimension, but the concept of health. So we have these 4 concepts of health. We have 4 concepts of health: the holistic concepts, the biomedical concepts, as well as the ecological concepts and psychosocial concepts. So when we say ecological concept, that is the environment in which an individual lives, has a relationship between man and the earth. And when you say psychosocial concepts, when you say psychosocial concepts, the society as well has an influence, whether positive or negative, on the health of the person. So in a society that is healthy, that is peaceful, that the citizen gets what it is needed by them, how do you expect such a society, such an individual, not to be in health? So there is a close relationship between the psychosocial concepts of health and the person and an individual as a person enjoying health. What about the biomedical? The biomedical aspects or the biomedical concept of health is another very important concept that is related to the health of a person. And lastly, on the concept of health is holistic concept. When we say holistic, that is everything about the human person is working in harmony: the psychology, the mental, the spiritual, the physical, as well as the social, the community, or the psychosocial of a person. All these 4 are in perfect or in good harmony. For better words, are working perfectly. That is, the person is working. The physical aspect of it is not altered. The mental aspect of the person, it's sound. And also the surrounding or the society of the person or the environment of the person also is not a threat to the health of the person, as well as the beliefs or the group of the person that it belongs to is also not posting any forms of stress to the person. So now I haven't understand or gotten the basic understanding of the concepts of health, which has been classified into 4. And what are they? For those of us that are in class is still in session. Thank you. Those of us that are joining, please kindly type on the chat the 4 concepts that we just mentioned now or briefly described. Kindly mention the 4 health concepts on this chart. So we move to the dimension of health. What are the dimensions of health? Of course, health has dimensions, which I'm going to share with you. I'm going to share my slides on the dimensions of health that we have. There is a chart, there is a figure or a diagram that illustrates the dimensions of health. As we can see on this page, we have a circle that has 4 wings, and each of the wings is melts at the center that is pointing or written health. And each of these 4 wings are the physical, the mental, the social, and the spiritual. So we see that these 4 dimensions makes a person to be in health. As I've been saying, that the physical of the person has to be sound. The mental of the person has to be sound, as well as the spiritual of the person and the society that the person lives. All this is influencing the health of a person. And at no time when any of this dimension is affected, can we say that a person is in health. So we are going to unpack each dimension one after the other. But before we do so, let me see who has responded on the chat. Okay, keep the response coming. Just keep the response coming. And I want to encourage those of us that have joined this online facilitation, because it's a class. I'm encouraging each student to activate his video. I want to see the face of the students that I'm facilitating. That is why my own video also is activated. So kindly on your video so that I know who I'm, the faces of the students that I'm facilitating. And also a quick detour, your participation in class also carries marks. Don't forget that you have 30 marks as continuous assessment. And how do I generate this 30 marks? Is through your contribution in class. Those who respond in class has marks. So for every question that learners respond to also carries marks. So the choice is yours, whether you want to have a good CA or not, or you want to base your total marks on your exam, which is over 17. So we said physical dimension. When we say physical dimension, what does it entail of a person's health? So from the word physical, we can see there are things that is seen in our environment. When you say physical, it means that the whole body is functioning well, or the body is in a state of health in which every cell of the body functions at optimal level. That is, there is a balance. There is a balance between the organs and the system of an individual. Your kidney is working normally the way it should work. Your brain is functioning maximally, as well as the liver, the lungs, the limbs, everything is perfectly functioning very well. So that is what we mean by the physical dimension of health of an individual. When we say any question, please, you're welcome to send your question and also raise your electronic ends if you do have question or you need clarification so far on what I'm explaining. So let's move further to the next point, which is the mental dimension. And I'm going to be sharing my slides on that. The mental dimension of a person. When we say mental, it means that it's someone that has a poor mental health is affected already by the physical health, vice versa. If your physical health or if the physical dimension is altered, definitely the mental will also be affected. And so when an individual is not able to adjust to various situations or respond poorly to sudden events in life or situation in life, the person allows situations to devastate the person. You cannot say, or we cannot say that you are in health. So the ability of an individual to be able to adjust and handle various situations and still be able to function maximally, it's called the mental dimension of the person. What about the social dimension of the person? We do have some people that they cannot relate with others. They are low rangers. They are always wanting to be alone. And that is not good. That is not good. To be in health, you have to have a balanced life. You have to be able to socialize. You have to be able to interact. We are social beings. And so when a person is always having problems with an individual that they are working together, or a colleague, or even siblings, you begin to question the mental health, the social dimension of the person. So this is important to note, that a social balanced person or someone that is not able to interact or sustain a relationship one way or the other, whether at work, whether in the family, is not considered to be in health. You meet some individual, they will say, no, me, I don't like relating with others. We need to let such a person know that is a sign of health problem, that it means that you are not in good health and you need to check yourself. So we move to the last point on the dimension, which is the spiritual. Of course, when we say spiritual dimension, it means that when an individual is faced or is having a particular issues, has a group of people or people that they share the same faith, or a being that is supernatural to the person, that the person believes in, that can solve or can kind of submits issues that the person is facing. So we say spiritual well-being is not in isolation from mental well-being. Yes, many people are able to handle circumstances, whether disappointment, whether death of a loved one, whether departure from family, even a divorce. Some break down. And when you break down, it means that your mental or your psychology is affected. So it is now believed that spiritual values influence our behavior and mental well-being. Yes, what we believe, when someone that is spiritual, study has shown that the person is able to handle matter without breaking down than the person who does not believe in supernatural being, such as for Christians who believe that there is a creator, there is one who creates this world, and the person is above every other being in this life. And for the Muslims who also believes in the Almighty Allah, also believes that there is a supernatural being that influences or that can help us. So all these beliefs helps an individual to better handle matters, matters, either by meditating on the set of principles that is guiding the beliefs of the belief of the person, or by praying, or by relating with people of like-minded in the faith that the person is. So we also, that is in summary, the 4 dimensions that I've just described in this class. Is there a question, or who would like to add to what has been said? For your information, for the interest of those that are not present in class, this class session will be posted under the facilitation record in the student page. So there will be a link that you can click and listen, as well as the instructional video, a short instructional video on this, for this unit will also be posted there. Please feel free to access it later and listen to it and read the instructional video as well. So as we move towards the closing of this class, let's also see what are the determinants of health. Of course, we have different determinants of health, and I want us to share together. These are common things that you and I know. These are common things that you and I know. What are those determinants of health? Certain things will predispose or will enhance an individual or a person, even a family, to enjoy good health. What are those things? Let's itemize them. Let it flow from the charts here. For those of us that, I know some of us are busy, you are still at work, and yet you are listening to this class. But even in our tight schedule, I want us to respond to this. What are those determinant factors to health? There are things that we all know. Let's make it flow. Yes, nutrition. Yes, nutrition, that is one. What about hereditary? Yes, hereditary, genetic. Yes, genetic is also one. Yes, exercise. Yes, lifestyle. Yes, yeah. Thank you. Thank you all for that attempt. I really appreciate. So let me share with you the few points that I've itemized in this slide with you as we round up today's class. The health of an individual is affected by factors within the individual and within the society. So just as we have the inner, the internal, and the external factors to health, what are those that are internal? When we say internal, that is, you don't have any influence over it. Your hereditary, that is, what runs in your family, what runs in the family. There are some family that they have a peculiar or a particular disease conditions that runs in the family. And what are the examples that we can think of? Some families has diabetes, yes, diabetes, for instance, that runs in their family. And so to such a person, the person has the tendency, the bullet is there in the individual's gun. What would determine the trigger, or the trigger of it would then be the lifestyle of the person. So an individual might have diabetes or hypertension or cancer that runs in their family. But it is the lifestyle of the individual that will pull the trigger, whether the person will come down with such a disease or not. So I normally say that gene is a gun with bullets, but lifestyle triggers the bullet. So the lifestyle of an individual will either promote health or will do what? Or detriment the health of the person. So hereditary is one. What about the lifestyle? Partially I've mentioned lifestyle. Yes, the lifestyle that an individual lives is very, very important. Some, they forgot their body composition or what runs in the family, or they don't just, some don't care about health. I've met with a woman. See, she's actually diabetes, and she drinks Coke, she drinks tea, puts 2 to 3 spoons of sugar in her beverage. And because she had earlier told me that she's diabetes, and I said, ma'am, do you think this is healthy for you? She said, hey, princess, that I know that this is not good for me, but I'm going to use my medication. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, which one is easier? To live without those things and maintain good health, or to eat those things and burden your body with medications? And so we see that some of us, some people are careless about their health. So we need to emphasize the importance of lifestyle. Some, they know that, oh, with the nature of work that they do is more of sedentary lifestyle. So to such a person that wants health needs to be doing exercise. So, and also you need lifestyle generally will enhance the health of a person. So it's very important. So we've just mentioned hereditary, lifestyle, and let's see what other determinants to health that we have. Environment is another determinant. The environment you live can predispose you to good health or poor health. There are some individuals that are living in a polluted environment. So when the environment is poor, the health of the individual also will be poor. So environment is also a determinant to health. We also have family, let me quickly share my slide on the next point on the determinant of health, which is health family welfare service. Yes, health and family welfare service, as well as the socio-economic condition. So in a way, let me assume that I've touched on the family welfare. So it's important for those of us that are married and we have our family, let's not jeopardize the health of the family members by what we give to them and by the way we handle them, beginning from the location of where the family are staying. Yes, you must ensure cross ventilation. You must ensure adequate air coming in. Some don't even know the importance of opening doors, especially when you are in. You need to allow air to come in. You must also ensure that the family eats good nutrition, as well as put on the right clothes, as well as also drink a lot of water, at least minimum of 1.5 to 2.5 liters per day. When you do all this, you are working towards good health. And lastly, on this point, we want to look at the socio-economic. The country that a citizen enjoy good pay and good amenities would not be affected much by ill health. But in a situation where the rights of the citizen is being affected, where you are working and you are not getting the commensurable payments for your labor, it will affect the person who have psychological stress, where you want to buy certain things and you can't afford it. It gives stress. So there is influence when someone has good socio-economic life. It also promotes health. And so at this junction, I want to welcome question, I want to welcome contribution, and I also want to say thank you for those of us that joined this class from beginning and stay up to this time. Thank you once again, and let me hear your contribution as well as your question before we end the meeting for today. So send in your question and share your contribution. So, okay, I'm expecting learners to send in their questions and contribution. Is today's class well understood? If you understand what we have covered so far in the last 45 minutes, can you raise your electronic hand up? Okay, okay, all right. And don't forget that the learning outcome for this unit that we've just covered, this topic is what? That individuals should be able to define health and should be able to mention and describe the concept of health as well as the determinant of health and also the prerequisites for health. What are the things, prerequisite or determinant for health? So kindly note that in case I give a quiz and I ask any of these questions, should be able to score all my marks. So this is where we are going to end it today. I would see you in the next class, by God's grace, next week, Tuesday, same time, 3 to 4 p.m. And please do encourage your friends that you know, your class members that are not here, encourage them to join in next class. And do check the school page. I'm going to post the YouTube link for this facilitation, for this class session that we just, that we are rounding up now, as well as instructional video for this topic, health concept. Thank you once again. Have a good day. Bye.